A few months ago, I made a video on queens who could have come right back after their original seasons and said once All Stars 10 was over, I would make a part 2. All Stars 10 has now been over for a few months and we must never speak of it again. Hello, and welcome to Drag Race Rejudged, where today I will be talking about Drag Race competitors who could have returned for All Stars immediately. For anyone who did not watch part 1, I'll link it in the description, but the only thing you really need to know is that this is less about the specific timelines and more about who is ready to perform at an All Stars level immediately after their season. Starting us off, we have Lady Camden on season 14. I am completely aware that I may have rose-colored glasses on, but with that said, I think Camden is one of the few queens to make it all the way to the end of a season without fully deserving a single bottom placement. Her 2 weakest showings were Snatch Game, where she was the pretty objective best of the bottom 7, and the Girl Group Challenge, where I feel she was 4th worst, so not bottom worthy. Then outside of those 2 weeks, I think there's a strong argument that she was top 4 in every other challenge except for the Ball and Super Cheese, where she was top 5. Outside of that, she had a really strong base season runway package, her eleganza look was great, her tutu look was great, her spring look was great, and that's without having any post-show resources. Even some of her weaker looks were good conceptually, so having more funding would be a huge plus for her. The next returning season after season 14 was all winners, so I don't think she was going to take that home, but in a hypothetical situation where she got to return immediately for like a regular All-Stars or maybe Canada vs. the World, she could absolutely have come back immediately and made a very deep run, if not taken home the crown. Next up, we have Sasha Velour on season 9. I know she won, but I wanted to make a brief reference to Sasha since there is a pretty good chance she would not have won without the lip sync for the crown. In terms of challenges, she spent pretty much the entire season in the top, and in the 4 occasions where she wasn't, she was either in the clear top half of the cast or given the worst part in the acting challenge. I think it's also worth mentioning that she was in the top 2 for 6 of 11 challenges. I think her runways were also consistently good in both concept and execution. Her Gaga looks, fur look, club kid look, and unicorn look were all All-Stars worthy, and even her weaker looks showed a commitment to showing women who are strong. Sasha was the full package on season 9, and had she not won and taken Aja's slot on All-Stars 3, she's making it to the final 5 at least, if not the finale, and given how charismatic she is, a good shot at taking home the crown. Moving on to regular entries, we have Plain Jane on season 16. Should Plain Jane have won 5 of 13 challenges on this season? No, probably not. Did she have 5 performances that were 100% win-worthy? Absolutely. Plain had very weak fan support for the first third of the season, and I think that made people view her early run a bit more negatively, but she really did have an insane run. She was either in the top or at least top worthy for the talent show, RDR Live, girl groups, the Doll Challenge, the Rusical, Snatch Game, the Goth Challenge, the Seminar Challenge, the Bathroom Challenge, and the Makeover. The only challenge she fully struggled in was the Final 4 Interview Branding Challenge, which has never appeared on All Stars, so that would not be an issue. Then for her looks, her runways were also All-Stars quality. Her looks that she had to sew were pretty good outside the ball, and her looks from home were great across the board except for the ball. I don't really know what went wrong that week, especially since she did not know the theme of the ball, and 2 of those looks were from home. Outside of that, if this is your weakest look, you are fully ready for All-Stars runways. Plain Jane was the full package in terms of skill set and runways. She made TV gold, and production absolutely loved her. I don't know how she would have done or who she would have replaced on All Stars 9, but she would have 11 episodes and no clear weaknesses, so unless she gets screwed by the format, she is golden. Next up, we have season 11, where I was kind of split between Brooklyn Heights, Akira Davenport, and Plastique Tiara. Brooke is the pick I'm most confident with, so I'll make the case for her, and then briefly go over the other 2. Brooke was amazing on this season. She was in the top 9 of 12 times. She had maybe 1 week runway out of the 12 she brought from home, and she easily could have won the season if the lip sync for the crown order was different. While there is a technical argument that she did return immediately since Canada's Drag Race premiered really soon after season 11, but as a competitor she was ready to go and easily makes top 4 if not top 3 on All Stars 5 had she gone down that route. The other 2 queens also could have had really strong runs if they returned immediately for All Stars 5, but I feel like the evidence is slightly weaker. When Akira Davenport is good in a challenge, she is really good in a challenge. Her only issue is that she was only really good like 3 times on season 11. She was fully there personality-wise, and I have no doubt that she would have made a deep run on All Stars 5, but I don't think her argument is as strong as Brooke's. Then Plastique Tiara was consistently good in almost all the challenges up until her elimination, and all of her runways were great in a vacuum. The one reason she is not a full entry on this list is that while her looks were great and she did have All-Stars level resources, the silhouettes were incredibly similar, and I think she needed just a bit more time to develop her aesthetic before returning. Next up, we have Ahura, Bimini, and Tace from UK Season 2. Lawrence fully deserved her win, and I agree with it, but really anyone from that top 4 was completely ready to win and return immediately. I know Ahura didn't make top 4, let me have this. Bimini came back swinging after COVID. She won 4 of 5 challenges and was top 3 in every week. I don't want to say that if the post-break Bimini was there the full time she would have won, but I will say that post-break Bimini showed absolutely no weakness. In those last 6 episodes, she was about as close to perfect as you could get. Her next season would have been UK versus the World, and I truly don't know where she would have gone home, if at all. It's not the talent show, it's not the ball with Juju, Baga, and Cheryl there, it's not the Rusical, it's not Snatch Game, and it is definitely not the Rumix. Then for Ahura, she has a slightly weaker case than Bimini, but still a pretty strong case. Her runways were absolutely amazing, especially for a regular season. She showed no weakness in non-comedy challenges, which would bode well for UK versus the World, which only had Snatch Game. The main reason I put her slightly behind Bimini is that Bimini's skill set works well for pretty much every season, but Ahura would have struggled on a more comedy-heavy season like All-Stars 6 or All-Stars 8. Then finally, I might be delusional about Tace, but the only week she genuinely deserved to be in the bottom was a design challenge. While she could bomb the ball and go home second on UK versus the World, I don't think that happens, and I think she has a pretty good shot at making it to the end with 2 to 3 wins. Moving on, Season 13 is a race between Rose and Denali, so I will make the case for both. Rose was good at literally everything except lip syncing. She could do comedy, she could act, she could sew, and she could perform really well whenever her vocals were in the song. Her runways were somewhat hit or miss, but they did lean heavily on the side of hit, and her only weak challenge performance was a team makeover where she was still the 4th worst out of 8. I think her lip syncing was definitely a weak point, but it's also a pretty good weak point to have. Jimbo lost 3 of 5 lip syncs, and if we're being honest, Ginger lost 4 of 6, so it's clearly not a deciding factor. Rose's season would have been All-Star 6, and I don't know if she wins that, but given her relative lack of weaknesses, she probably makes a pretty strong run. I am very aware that there's a reputation surrounding Denali stan, so I will be as objective as possible. Denali did really well on Season 13. Her acting challenge and makeover were not great, but outside of that, she won girl groups and was at least top 4 in the Ball, Discomentary, Bossy Rossi, Rusical, and Snatch Game. There was no makeover on All-Star 6, so assuming she makes it through the acting challenge, she's pretty much home free until the final 5 and is likely to get at least a win or 2. She was also strong on most runways, for example her vamp look, her beads look, and her trains look. Given the extra resources from competing a first time and not being branded a loser by production, I think she has a really good shot. Between the two, I think I'd go with Rose, but really either one of them could have come back without much issue. Finishing us off, we have Sapphira Crystal on Season 16. I don't know what Sapphira did to people. She got several hate comments on my last video, even though I didn't include her, but she did do a really great job on Season 16. Similarly to Plain, she realistically could have gotten to 5 wins and had a pretty good case for being in the top almost every week except RDR Live, the Doll Challenge, and the Makeover. Her singular weak point was the makeover, and that's only because she had to swap outfits at the last minute. That's still a negative and something she probably should have prepared for, but it's also a mistake you don't make twice, so I don't think it would be an issue on All-Stars 9. Her runways were good, her performances were good, and she was a single lip sync away from being one of the least controversial winners the show has seen in a long time. Just like Plain, I don't know whose slot on All-Stars 9 she'd be taking, but given her skill set, I don't think there's a single challenge she doesn't have at least some shot at winning. Also, one more thing, now that we're at the end of our segment, please do not send Sapphira hate in the comments. It was an issue last time. I completely agree with Nymphia's win, but like, Sapphira did do a great job on that season.
Do you want non-Emmy nominated gay shit? Well then you should check out the RuPaul's Drag Race Rejudged YouTube channel and hit subscribe.